jokes.
You started with like the least professional people.
We... oh my god.
We don't do anything.
Do we say a fun fact?
No, you do not say fun fact.
Is this all good? How does it sound?
Yeah, good. Okay.
Hi. And on.
Are you recording? Okay.
When Josh hole punched my hair.
I had consent.
I'm Milena. I do arts and law at Sydney University.
I'm Tina. I do commerce and law at UNSW.
I'm Josh. I go to UNSW and I do law and arts.
I'm Hannah. I go to Macquarie and I study criminology.
Hi, my name's Nicholas. I study Bachelor of Criminology at Western Sydney University.
So hi, I'm Kristen. I study arts and business at UNSW.
I'm Aisha. I study law and economics at UNSW as well.
I'm Tanya.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And what unis do you go to?
UNSW.
And degrees?
Criminology.
I've been here for like 5 months maybe.
I've been here like 5 months. You've been here longer.
6 months then.
6 months? Okay.
I've been here for 3 weeks.
3 months for me.
About 3 months.
Yeah.
I started September. I've been here for 4 months.
Just been here for just under 3 months.
Same here, 3 months.
Our usual day starts at 9 and everyone arrives between 9 and 9:30, and then there's a team meeting for about an hour, and then the rest of the day you're designated a task and you have the rest of the day to fulfill it.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
We all tend to have lunch together, the Monday team. Yes, that's cute.
It's cute.
And we do really important work, which is nice.
It's very different. Like, you don't come in doing the same thing every day. Like, every week we kind of have a different task to do.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about it.
That's what's
like,
good
you
about
can
it.
Try dabble in a few different fields.
Yeah.
And we're the Monday team, so it's like always fun, you know?
And
Having
like
a
more
laugh.
chill. We've heard it's more chill on the Monday, so.
Every day at Justice Action is very different. We're always doing like new and exciting things. Yeah, no day is really the same.
And there's a lot of different work that we're involved in, so that there's like a lot of variety where we get to choose the task that we're most comfortable with.
I didn't think it'd be so hands-on.
Yeah.
I thought it'd just be more chill, not really like working, but like maybe assisting someone rather than going all in and doing it yourself and just having to do not everything yourself, but like being really self-sufficient. So I think that was not an expectation.
Yeah, you have a lot of your own responsibility.
Yeah.
I kind of also thought that, but then I also thought it'd be a lot more formal, but it's a very relaxed workplace.
Definitely.
Everyone's allowed to talk and like be friends, so it's very chill.
So when I first started, I thought it'd be really, really formal, so I rocked up really formal on the first day, and I realised it's really casual, but I like how it's casual, but we still get the work done.
Yeah, I like how it's quite informal, but we still do really interesting work. I came in with the expectation that it would be like mostly admin work, but we do really get involved with all the issues.
I didn't really have any expectations. Like, I didn't really know anyone who had worked here before, so I kind of just came in blind. But it's good, yeah. Like, I really liked it because you get to kind of dabble in everything, so...
I think I gained a lot of like research skills. So we do a lot of works that I guess it's in other areas of like that's not really part of my discipline, so I need to do some research on it. So yeah, research skills.
Yeah, I've definitely like developed more practical skills and stuff like that, especially in like teamwork and working independently.
I think definitely a lot of like team-based communication is definitely a big one, and just learning to sort of do things on your own. You know, we're both first-year students, so
Noticeably.
so I think that was just a big thing, like being self-sufficient and actually working on things. And
Yeah, I think it's really good for like independence.
Yeah.
And teaching you how to manage your own work, because there's not a lot of oversight, minus like showing Brett everything before it gets sent off.
But even then sometimes.
Yeah, even then, like he doesn't take too much control. It's a lot of independent work. And it's a good like introduction, since most people who come here haven't had like huge experience before, so it's a good introduction to like admin work and
workforce.
In
general.
I think I've gained a fair amount of confidence. I was very I kind of like being told what to do, but in this environment, it's kind of like, here's the things you have to do, now go do it. If you have any questions, there are like folders to sort out. So, you know, it's kind of, you have to work not only by yourself, but also you kind of have to rely on your colleagues a lot. So, I don't know, for me that was a very newish thing for me, but I mean, I feel like I've gained a lot as a result of it.
Probably the broader perspective that you earn with working with this sort of work. It is really valuable to be able to work closely with prisoners and to be able to hear their side of the story, hear their experiences. It humanises the system. So
Definitely, that's exactly how I would say it.
I think personally, like, some of the cases that we work on, like, there's been quite a few like Indigenous deaths in custody, which is an area that I'm really interested in, so kind of doing some work on that has been cool.
I'd probably say the same.
the people that work here is probably the best part of it.
I agree, like getting lunch together.
Yeah, having lunch, having a cute old lunch downstairs, It's really a family sort of environment. It's nice.
The letters job is fun. You get to like reply to prisoners' queries and problems in their life and like help them communicate.
Out a bit, which is nice.
It's fulfilling.
It is fulfilling.
I think on both our first days here, as soon as we got in, we had to go to court, so that was actually quite exciting.
Yeah.
We'd never been before.
Give it a go. You'll enjoy it. It's a very nice, friendly environment. It's really fun. Yeah,
I think it's a great place to start as well. Like, obviously at uni, like, it's all about the books and the essays, but this kind of, you actually kind of see what you're studying, like, in reality kind of thing, like engaging with people in prison or like people with mental health issues. And making a difference, I hope.
Come with an open mind, and just be open to developing relationships with those in the office, and be open-minded in terms of working with prisoners and corresponding with them.
And determined to, help out.
As part of the Tuesday team, I'm Loretta, and myself, David was one of the interns from Justice Action, Brett and actually the three of us met out at Concord Hospital to meet with the Mental Health Review Tribunal regarding reviewing the planned CTO for Kerry O'Malley. Justice Action has been involved for quite a few years with Kerry O'Malley to try and ensure that least restrictive practice has been applied to her and to really try and respect her wishes. She's been for a long time subject to hospitalisation and forced medication. She's had a lot of CTOs, but we've also had some success in reducing or having community treatment orders reversed. Back in 2017, Justice Action at Kerry's request got involved and was able to successfully have it overturned. And during that time it was recognised that she had a chemical disposition based on DNA testing that meant that her claims that she's made for many years of the particular difficulties of side effects actually had a physiological basis, and that was recognised, and she was able to have her order reviewed partially in the light of that. It was also noted that that antipsychotic medication can be a real problem, not only because it adds more side effects and new medication doesn't seem to have change too much, but also because of her own particular inability to metabolise certain chemicals. Anyway, so we got together with Kerry, and it was lovely to see her again. She's volunteered at Justice Action as well, sadly we weren't able to have the order reversed, but we were able to have some impact, and they reduced it from 6 months to 3 months. We're kind of not happy with that, and we're not happy with the basis on which things were said, because really she's never been harm to herself or others, and people were acknowledging that she has recovered from her acute phase, and so why would we continue to want her to be unnecessarily restricted in terms of medical practice? So we'll continue to support Kerry, and even today she rang, although she's only discharged a few days ago, she rang and said, look, thanks so much Justice Action for being involved, we really appreciate what you've done, thanks for being there as a support, and yes, I do want your continuing support. So hopefully in the new year we can offer some more help. She's a lovely lady and very genuine, and while she has her own vulnerabilities, we really want to try and protect against her being against a too heavy-handed medical and biomedical approach to supporting her. We're very disappointed that the independent management plan wasn't even looked at. It didn't seem to even be read by the panel, and we want to see much more consumer empowerment in the future, especially for Kerry. So it was a great thing to be a part of, and the Justice Action team will keep doing that in the new year.
So how has your time at Justice Action been this year?
I've really valued my time here at Justice Action. I feel like I was exposed to many new things, and I learned many new skills, and it was a great opportunity also to contribute and work in many admirable causes. So all in all, I'd say my time here has been very, very wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not what I expected going into it, but the stuff that they're doing, the behind the scenes of it all, it's really benefiting people. And also the work with iExpress, the stuff that we do there, it's really interesting, and it's so helpful for the prisoners who don't get a lot of access to things like that. So yeah.
It's been really, really good, very, very interesting. We've been working on cases that I never thought I'd be involved in, so I'm really glad that I'm part of a team that really makes change and does a really, really good job in helping people in prisons, and I've learned a lot about mental health and just that experience, which, yeah, it's really life-changing. It's really, 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 really good.
Yeah, same for me. I really enjoyed my time here as well. It was really interesting and really valuable experience. I had the opportunity to work on a project that was involved with the iExpress platform, and it was really nice to get a little bit of a look behind the veil, so to speak, to see what life is like in prison, and to see how important such a seemingly simple service is for these people's lives and the effect it can have on their lives and their families as well, and the potential for rehabilitation and re-entry into the community that a platform like that has is pretty remarkable. So it was really interesting to work on something like that.
Well, it's been quite a roller coaster ride. Anyone that walks in the door of Justice Action, there's always issues, and I think there were really important things that happened this year. The election was so important for implications of how what politicians are going to be selected and who. That was created a lot of uncertainty, but still pushing a lot on education issues, and I've been fairly involved with the David Dungay case, death in custody, so that's been a real biggie and quite a roller coaster.
So I started off just interning, and in that process I worked with iExpress, which was really, it was a good service to kind of help prisoners connect with their family and friends on the outside. So I really enjoyed doing that. And then a while after that, I got bumped up into the assistant coordinator position. So that was also really fun. It's a little bit more of like sending emails and making sure the organization is running smoothly. And it was good to help everyone out with the kind of different tasks that they were doing. And it gave me a lot of exposure onto like the different kind of policy areas that Justice Action is working on. And yeah, I had a great time, met a lot of great people, and yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I've really found interesting about my time at Justice Action is just seeing all the different policy initiatives that they do, pushing for reforms in like such a wide variety of areas, whether it be like just prisoner education or like even just computers in cells, and then also now here with like the Productivity Commission and mental health there, just the wide range of initiatives and like areas that they managed to touch and really like the significant impact that they do actually have on these systems, which is really encouraging to see.
And especially because it's all like very student driven as well, it's quite inspiring to see like the work that we put into it and the kind of changes it's making in the world.
So during my 3 months here, I learned a lot about social injustices in developed countries like Australia. So even if the context is different from where I come from, so I come from the Philippines, I guess the issues brought here, especially by Brett, it just shows how the marginalized are oppressed by the system and those in power. So I want to continue working in this field in the future.
Yeah, and yeah, I've only been here for a month, but there's been so many different tasks and things to do, and it's brought my attention to issues as well, such as like mental health, social justice, and conditions in prisons that I also want to further explore as well.
Can you hold this, please?
What's this?
Yeah, just hold it.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Just microphone. So.
Oh yeah, forgot it.
Hi there.
Nice house. Alright.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm the Thursdays team assistant coordinator.
And more? Yeah. I study at UNSW. I study criminology, my master's degree, and geography in my science degree.
Yeah, my name is Sasika. I'm a second year law student at UNSW, and yeah.
I'm Ivy, and I'm studying senior uni, studying psychology and sociology.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The people are nice, and I try to like feel like I'm giving back a little bit to society.
The only thing that's exciting is that I'm going on my first solo trip next year to Japan. So that'll be the exciting thing for me.
It sounds exciting for me.
I'm Sri Lankan, and I really like human rights in general, so I thought this would be a nice place to work, really. And I guess coming from Sri Lanka and coming to Australia was an interesting experience for me, especially just for 2 years. The last 2 years.
Yeah, this interview now, like this movie, this interesting and something new for me. It's first time to do that.
Yeah, I'm Darren. I'm the bookkeeper.
And would you like to share a fun fact?
I like to skateboard.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
I found it on my UNSW careers hub, and I applied through that.
So I found out about it on the careers website at my university, and it was promoted as a pretty good opportunity. So I was like, might as well see how it goes.
So I found this J on our website, career hub. Empowering, challenging, progressive.
Nice. Okay.
Charitable, humanitarian, and helpful.
Okay, so 3 words, lovely,
Yeah.
exciting, fun. Yeah. I think the most exciting thing I've done was just go to Brett, gone to a couple of meetings with Brett, with a bunch of like different organizations and different politicians, I'd say. Yeah.
I think working on the David Dungay, like the proposals for change in prisons, because I hadn't really heard about it before I worked at JA, and finding out about it and figuring out a way to make sure that deaths in custody are reduced was difficult, but I think interesting thing to work on.
Yeah, watching my head.
Yeah.
I find the internship really times challenging, but then at the same time relaxing, because you have like a really good community that's able to support you with what you're doing. Yeah.
Fun, friendly atmosphere.
For me, I think if computer moves a little bit quicker. Yeah, that's the first thing I think.
Something that could be improved, I think, maybe more space. Yeah, I think that's the only thing really, because you really need more space to do more work.
Maybe a slightly bigger space or like a few more computers, because I know there are some days there are like 20 interns and there's like not enough resources for people.
So my first impression here is that I found out when the first day I came here, I found out that every day is a very different team. So there's a lot of people get involved. Such wonderful.
My first impression at Justice Action was it was very busy, and like there were a lot of tasks going on. Everyone was very committed to doing their own project, so it was a very good environment to work in.
And my first impression is it's really chill, because I thought it would be a formal job, but I came here, it's really casual. Nobody wears suits or something really formal.
So when I first came to Justice Action, I think my first impression was actually just trying to find the place. That was quite difficult. After that, it was just a matter of, I don't actually know what the trial day was. It was quite daunting, it was quite terrifying. I didn't know what I was going to be made to do, how tough they were on me. So that was my first impression of JA.
Interning with Justice Action was my first interaction with an office and my first time in an office setting. And it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Just first walking in and seeing all the plants, and everyone was super friendly. And I like how it's a teamwork sort of environment, whereas I kind of expected it would be very quiet at your desk in a cubicle or something like that, but it's much more cooperative and fun than I was expecting.
My first impression is that it's very crowded and there weren't enough seats, because I was here on a Friday, and yeah, there were a lot of people, and there were 3 trial day people as well, so we were kind of lost as to what to do. And I didn't realize it was going to be like super hands-on the first day. I thought it was just going to be like training and see what's going on with the office, but it was like, here's your job and you have to do this today. And it was a bit nerve-wracking because there was a lot of responsibility, but in the end it was really satisfying because I got to do something on the first day.
In all honesty, I didn't actually look up what the organization was like in terms of, you know, the general feel of the office. I was expecting something a lot more serious, and I came in very formal clothing on my first day. But I think what Brett said on the first day, we're here for fun, really got to me afterwards, and then you can dress casually after this point.
It's a very team-based environment. Everyone's working together on different tasks, so you kind of have to know how to work with each other, but also be independent at the same time. Yeah.
Here, the social media, the digital appearance of Justice Action was not that good. But after 2 months, with a little bit help from Brad and other people, it's getting better now.
Okay. My highlight is probably going to court to support Kat Armstrong. I thought it was a really interesting experience that not a lot of people get to experience when they go and see the court process. So that was interesting.
My highlights would be I went to the court hearing and for Armstrong case, and because that was really rushing and I needed to combine all the report together in half an hour. So that was really challenging, but we made it in the end.
My highlight of the year would be actually transitioning from an intern to coordinator. I think I really like the position of being able to oversee a lot of different tasks, as well as working on tasks and seeing how the tasks actually work out in the real world rather than just on a computer screen. So seeing what the reports actually translate into work.
It's hard just to choose one thing for a highlight, but I would say in general, the part that always feels the best is once you finish a task and you can hand it on through to, I don't know if it's sending an email or sending off a letter or whatever, but feeling that sense of satisfaction like, oh, I did something today that contributes to something larger, no matter how small or large that is. That's a good feeling. And knowing that once you've sent it through, you've done your best for that and you hope that it can help someone out in some way.
My highlight would have to be the day that I went to attend an inquest in Lidcombe, in the coroner's court, and it was a inquest on a case of an Aboriginal man that died in custody. And during that day, there were a lot of media, and there was a mini protest outside the court. So there was something that's very interesting.
I think one of the highlights was I was relieving assistant coordinator for a few weeks and had to take up all the responsibilities associated with that, including taking phone calls, which is something I was really bad at the first time, but I think I've gotten a lot better at it.
Highlight would be when you finally learn how something works and you get into a groove of things and knowing how to respond to people, how to do certain processes. It's very challenging, but at the same time very satisfying when you get things right.
As you know, I am an advertiser. So when I came here, I learned a lot about doing, like write for social media and teamwork skills.
I learned how to work in teams because often you're doing a project with a few other people, so you collaborate with them. And obviously within that, communication skills are really important.
I've learned a lot, but the most important thing I've learned is the skills of legal research, because that's what I mainly done here.
Justice Action, you basically learn how to complete a full task in one day, which seems really terrifying, but you are thrown in the deep end, but it is so satisfying. And you actually just get the work done, surprisingly, and obviously with the support of everyone there. But yeah, it's really supportive and really good, and the one thing I've learned is how to just dig into it, have a shot, and you'll be surprised at the outcome.
I've learned a lot of lessons about practical things like how to structure an email to somebody who's more higher up, to writing reports for different sort of people, and even just how to make sure you're logging things properly to make it easier for another person. That's something I've never had to do before. It's something I think is really useful and something that I've already used for other things with uni and stuff like that as well. Yeah. I also am not a law student, so I didn't know anything about the law at all, or people in prison or locked hospitals. So I've learnt a lot through that too, which I think is really cool, and been able to talk to other people about that more too, which is good, I think.
I've learned a lot about the Australian government and law and all that stuff because I don't study law, so it's something new to me. And I also learned a lot of issues regarding the Indigenous and Aboriginal people. So that's pretty interesting and a cool insight into that issue.
From being assistant coordinator for those couple of weeks, I think that was the biggest learning moment for me. It was just one time where I had to talk with the Western Australian Victims Commission, and that was one of the most awkward conversations I've ever had in my life, but I think that I really came out better in terms of how I can handle myself over the phone in stressful situations.
All the new programs, how to use them, FileMaker, all that sort of fancy stuff.
Goodwill and very dynamic. Because we are all fighting for the human rights, the prisoners' rights, so I think it's something really, really good and very essential for the society. But also, it's very chill, it's very casual here. You can not only come here to work, but also to relax. Yeah, meet a lot of people and with different ideas.
I would say passionate, because everyone working here is really passionate about the causes that they're doing, and Brett himself is obviously very involved in it all, and yeah, so it's great.
I will use the word innovative. Because it's not somewhat like a formal job or really strict, organized, and everyone is really casual. But in the meanwhile, we communicate really well.
I would describe Justice Action as refreshing.
My one word to describe Justice Action is meaningful, because I think the work that is done here is so meaningful not only to consumers that we sometimes interact with directly, but also the system more broadly, so it can help people who even in Australia who may not even know about Justice Action, but because of the work that is done here, people in prison and locked hospitals can hopefully be supported more.
Diverse. It's diverse because there are a lot of people from different backgrounds, and people study different courses, and we also get to meet a lot of people that has involvement with the government, with the system, so like we get to meet a lot of different people, and I think that's very interesting for me.
I think I'm going to have to quote Brett again, like fun. Like I really enjoy the work that we do at Justice Action.
Interesting. It's interesting, very community based. So with everything that you have to do, you're much more involved with the people that you interact with rather than, say, just administrative tasks. So you actually do get to find out people's stories and what people are doing, how they're learning, the new life stories. It's very interesting.